Welcome, everyone, to Brown and Browner, the Halloween edition. We're going a little thematic today for Halloween coming up tomorrow, and it's going to get a little fun. Who knows? There might be some scary stuff happening in sports as far as we're concerned. Even scary, there's scary upsets happening every week, it seems like, in the NFL, and we'll touch on some of that along with other sports. Honestly, I'd like to start just a little rambitting with the World Series. I don't know if any of you guys have been watching that. We got Team Canada on the verge of winning the World Series right now after last night. And I don't know if any of you caught it at the very beginning. Within the first three pitches, you had two dongs out of the park, and it was an impressive start for the Toronto Blue Jays last night.
First time ever in World Series history that the first two batters were able to hit a home run, and as you said, it was off three pitches. The first pitch was hit for a home run. And honestly, I'm surprised that hasn't happened more often, because what does a pitcher try to do just to start a game? It's to destroy strike. Yeah, it's not a curveball. It's not a sinker. It's down the middle heat. And if you're ready for it, you should be able to jack it out or get good wood on it. I'm happy to see Toronto win. Quite frankly, again, it's been 33 years since they've won the Joe Carter era. Happy to see Vlad and the guys overcome the juggernaut that is what the Yankees wish they were, which is spend a lot of money and get the best players, and you should win more often. Dodgers do that the right way. The Yankees don't. But it shouldn't just be about money. It should be about grit and gut and showing up at the moment. That's why you play the games. It's not one on paper.
I'll tell you what. So two things. One, it sucks that money buys championships in baseball. We've seen it over the last few years, and I'm glad that's kind of maybe turning its head this year a little bit. I still think it's going to go to Game 7. I mean, you're putting they're playing the Japanese pitcher on the mound in Game 6, who's been just lights out.
But there is something to be said about home field advantage, especially in the World Series. Even though you might not have seen as much of that throughout this whole playoffs, with the home team losing more frequently than winning, it seems.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm hopeful that it's done in 6, because I'd love to see the people in Canada enjoy winning a World Series again in Canada, as opposed to waiting to Game 7.
I think Toronto's got a shot even Game
7 in Canada.
Yeah, 6 and 7 are in Canada. 6 and 7 in Canada. However, I think they got a great shot to win it even in Game 7, because frankly, the way that the lineup cards stick out, that'd be Ohtani on the mound on Game 7, and he struggled.
Do you really want to go there?
He struggled a little bit. I mean, he can earn his paycheck.
You really want to go there?
Yeah, but that's where we are. So think about it. You paid the man, and he is worth it. Don't get me wrong.
Well, yeah.
But this is what you pay for. This is where we get to see if money comes to fruition when it comes to paying for a player of his caliber in a Game 7 to win you a championship. And honestly, I kind of want everything to turn on its head. Nothing against him. I love the guy. I think he's one of the best players in baseball ever. No question. But
he's not overhyped. One of the few
baseball, and I like the fact that he's humble. Yeah. Baseball needs a lockout in 2027 to reset it to where you have a salary cap. Simple as that. That's my opinion. Yeah,
I agree. And that's another reason why I would like to see Toronto. Yeah. The bad thing is, I want to see Toronto win, because they aren't that. However, if they do win, then that's something that someone who could say and use that as leverage and saying, well, we won the World Series this year.
Toronto's obviously not as wealthy as the Dodgers roster is, but they did spend money in free agency to pick up who they needed to. They got Shane Bieber, they picked up even what's his name, old Max Scherzer, on their bench. So they went and got some calibers of some guys.
Talk about Halloween. I wish we had a picture we could just flash on the screen.
Yeah, that dude.
When he told the coach he didn't want to come out the game. That was some scary shit.
That dude. But no, like I said, they've spent some money too. But at the end of the day, think about this: Freddie Freeman would still be a Brave if we didn't have a salary. If we had a salary cap, you'd have him and Acuna running the show, and Strider and the rest of those boys out in Atlanta. You'd have Shane Bieber still in Cleveland, and Cleveland may be winning a title because of how deep and how well they are for the last few years. So the parity in baseball is gone. It's whoever wants to spend the biggest money in any one year and bankrupt themselves.
That's how you have to put some guardrails around that. There's to me, the idea, especially in professional sports, should be competition. That's why only the top 1% of that, given sport make it to the pros. But if you make it to the pros and that all of a sudden I'm good enough to be a pro, but I'm not even close to even scratching at becoming a champion unless I go to a team that's already stacked. How is that promoting real competition?
Yep. There used to be a TV show when we were kids about, it had Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky, Bo Jackson, and I think one other person. I can't remember who it was, but it was a cartoon, right? And had all the greatest figures in sports that I just named off, right? Are we in an interesting era where we could create a Mount Rushmore of sports? Let's say a show. I think you need more sustained success. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I was going to say, who would you put up there? And please, I know LeBron would be the one for basketball, but boy,
not for me. Not for me.
And listening into the NBA broadcast, I'm so glad. I know we go off on tangents, but I love that part of our show. I'm so glad that ESPN picked up the TNT team for basketball because I thought it was, a great team. They're hilarious. And Charles and Shaq and those guys.
They're the greatest four.
I know we're in different eras, and I know the argument of eras and time, but I'm sorry, the grit and the grind was there in the early times, from the 70s on to the 90s and maybe 2000s. And then all of a sudden it became the flop and slop and cry and whine and see how long you can play to establish records versus actually doing it when things count. And that actually has more substance than being, and we just talked about it. You pay money for players to perform in the most impactful moments. Tell me when LeBron has done that. Just tell me one. Give me one. Besides when he was in Cleveland with Kyrie. Give me another.
Even then, you didn't pay the man in Cleveland to do it with with that whole crew because they had other players that were obviously playing their role. And honestly, he is not a leader of men.
No, he proved that on Miami. Not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, not six. You know what? You're right. You went to 6, but you didn't get 6. You got 2 out of 6. That's like if you were playing baseball, that'd be a great average.
That's where you had my boy Timmy and the San Antonio Spurs. That's called a leader. That's called a guy that can really lead a team. That's where you had my boy Dirk and the boys. I mean, this is proof and pudding. Proof and pudding. These guys led teams. They were leaders of men. They deserve the mantle. They deserve the crown.
Yes.
Ron, you bought your crown.
Yes. You take away the championships he won in Miami.
Yeah.
He has the one in Cleveland. You know how many people persevered through the bad times to get multiple championships? Jordan being the first that I could think of. But there are many others who persevered and didn't say, nobody ever wanted to be on. You know what? You and I, let's say that we were great tennis players. You're a pretty good tennis player. I play tennis. Not the same.
No.
And we were at the top of our game.
Yep.
I want to beat you.
Yep.
That would tell me that I'm where I need to be from a competitive standpoint. I don't want to join you and let's play doubles.
Yeah.
Because that's not where it's at. It's about me being able to establish how I can rank myself based against the greatest of my time.
Exactly.
He didn't want to do that. He didn't want to persevere. He didn't want to make others great around him to become great and win championships. He wanted to bring the greatest players of that time together and win championships. And they didn't even do it then. And if it wasn't for Dwayne Wade, they wouldn't have even won those championships in Miami.
Those were Dwayne Wade
and Ray Allen.
D-Wade and Ray Allen. You had the original Mr. Shooter, before Steph came along. That's what you had. And those two guys won the championship. I'm sorry, but honestly, I didn't know Chris Bosh until he got brought over to the Heat.
I did because he was a decent player.
I knew he was a 4 in Toronto. Don't get me wrong. But he wasn't that dude.
He wasn't that dude. He was getting paid like that dude. He was getting the accolades and all-stars think that dude. But again, what happened to him when he joined that team? So, there's only one ball. And I don't care how great you are. That was the downfall of many of our, Olympic teams.
Yes.
Was that they didn't know how to play like a team. They knew how to play like a bunch of individuals, but they didn't know how to play as a team because they were all alphas. And instead of giving a little bit to get more, they all wanted to be the dog. I want to be the one, the reason why we win. And then they lost.
So, I think you and I are in agreement here. great basketball season has started. Honestly, you're not going to see us probably talk about it or get invested in until April. But like you said, the two best things that have happened so far have happened. You brought the TNT team back over, so it's a prime spotlight for folks like us and honestly the people that appreciate basketball to go back, listen to the old heads, and honestly, it's the greatest four to commentate on the side by far, and it's great to have them. The other one that I like on NBA on NBC, which I'm glad is back too, they have this little mini series with Jordan, and I love the
other one
throwing at him. And this week's question was the greatest one. What do you think of load management? And I'm like,
yes,
this is good. This is good.
Did you love it? Because you know, and again, that goes back to what are you willing to sacrifice? How much do you really? To me, it's this. When I played, when you played, I didn't play because I wasn't getting paid, but I didn't
play to love the game. Yeah, because you love the game.
I loved the game so much. I would walk out there, my fingers were jacked up because I was playing football and basketball and baseball, and my fingers still look jacked up. I had a limp. I had knee surgery coming up, and I still played baseball after I just messed my knee up playing basketball in a league game.
I'd still be out there. Yep.
And I was still out there because I loved playing sports.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I got a hangnail. I think I'm going to be out a week.
Yep.
Because I got to protect my brand. I got to make sure that I'm at 100%. You can play at 80% and still contribute and have value.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
But you don't have that today. Not that everybody's like that, but there are just certain players.
But it's pathetic. If we had a Henbo here, I'd love to see the statistic on all, let's say, the top 10 players in the NBA right now. What percentage of the games have they actually played in terms of minutes versus, let's say, the greatest 10 of like the 80s and 90s, who I'd say is probably well over 90%, honestly, unless they had a significant injury which pulled them out. I think they played 90% of their minutes. Shit.
Well, they did have an interesting thing on the NBC show, I think it was, where they had Vince Carter, they had Carmelo Anthony, and they had
T-Mac.
What's that?
T-Mac, Tracy McGrady.
T-Mac, yes, they had Tracy McGrady. And they had all three of them up there with the lady who hosts the show. And she talked about that because they showed the Jordan thing about load management. It's like, no, man, we played. We didn't matter how we played. And then they showed him during the flu game. They showed him at various stages where he played through all of that. And all of the other guys played through all of that. But that's funny because they asked these guys and they all said the same thing. Yeah, you played. And like we're saying, the love of the game. You wanted to get out there and play. And then they said, so we got some stats here. Brought out the Himbo and they asked and said, Tracy McGrady, you had 0 times where you played 82 games in a season. Vince Carter, you had like 3 times that you played 82 games in a season. And Carmelo, you had like 5 times that you did it. So now that's just interesting to say that, but I still don't think that it takes away from the fact that maybe there were times they just couldn't play.
They were the
type of game that you had.
Yeah, the way I see it, they were kind of the transition era. So you had, what I would call everything up to, let's say, I'm going to call it 1996, 99, somewhere like that, up until when the Spurs won in 99, probably. Up until that era, you had still like the original Jordan era, everything else, the Ewings, everything else and all that. Then you had what I would call like the more like bridge era. So you had the Shaq, you had the Kobe, you had T-Mac, you had Vince Carter, the early 2000s, basically, and Allen Iverson, of course, who never missed a game, in my opinion.
Still never given all of the
strongest man I've ever seen in my life. Yeah.
Well, that dude just never got the recognition. You didn't have guys that size dominate the NBA the way he did. You just didn't.
And the way that he wanted it. Like, it's just sick to watch. Like, if I were to go back and watch literally 2000, 2004, every time the Sixers made the finals and had to play against juggernauts, basically, left and right, that dude left it on the floor. Simple as that. He left it on the floor every time.
Guess what he didn't do? Even though he should have, probably. He didn't whine that he didn't have enough talent. He didn't whine. He didn't do any of that. He just went out there and played and gave it his all. And,
he played to show up.
Talk about somebody who deserved the championship. Yeah, that guy deserved the championship.
No
yeah. And it wasn't because of Jordan that he didn't get the championship like many others.
You had one piece to him team. Any one of those 3 or 4 times that he was one guy, you had one guy with even half talent, honestly, he would have been the championship.
Yep, I agree.
I mean, this dude almost dethroned Shaq and Kobe. Think about it.
By himself, not necessarily by himself, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And that's funny.
Like you said, I'm glad that the NBA has this, like, you know, kind of like this nice dynamic duo. On ESPN, you got the big four that are commentating. You got the whole ESPN, or sorry, the NBC bit with Tirico and Jordan. I'm actually more engaged off the court right now.
Actually, that's true. And I think that's how you actually market your brand.
Yes.
It can't just all be basketball. It has to be the interest in how we are framing what the basketball experience is.
I'm stunned that NBC as a channel decided to devote their Mondays and Tuesday nights to NBA basketball from now on. I mean, that's a big bet if you think about it from a financial standpoint. I mean, I understand that sports is the draw, you know, in the modern age, and, you know, maybe sitcoms aren't being written well and everything else that, you know, used to exist in the 90s, 2000s. But the fact that they're devoting 2 straight nights to the NBA, you know, from now on, and you're putting together this flavor and everything else, it's a pretty big endeavor on their part, a pretty gutsy move. We'll see if it pays off, honestly. But I mean, like I said, I'm just watch the Jordan stuff.
It does, but if you think about it, you got 7 days of the week.
Yeah.
Saturdays and Sundays are generally those matinee games, and then you might have the late one game. And a lot of times people are doing things on those days because those are the only days you can really do things.
On Saturday and Sunday are football. It's college and pro.
Well, and that's the other part, is that you go up against college and pro. So take those 2 days away, and now you got 5 days left. Friday nights, I'm sorry, Friday nights are not a night that you should have sports as the dominant thing, because, again, if you're working 40 to 70 hours a week, like most of us are, Friday night is your relief. Exhale. Let me go out and party. Let me go go to parties. Let me go do some entertainment so that I can enjoy myself. Saturday might be the recovery day. Sunday's your football day if you just like pros, or vice versa if you just like college. So now you got 4 days left. All right. Out of those 4 days, which days are you truly going to be able to pick? Now, the good thing about basketball is that it really doesn't compete with much else other than hockey during the week, right? There's nothing else to really compete against. But I think that Monday night, you got Monday Night Football, but if you're showing 3 basketball games, you get a taste of basketball before the Monday night game and a taste of basketball towards the end of the Monday night game.
Well, think about the dynamics. So you have the Monday night games, but this year alone, if I were just going to focus on football this year alone, Thursday night has had some marquee matchups.
And that's the other thing.
So then Monday night becomes the dud night between the two, right? So that's where the NBA can take advantage. Absolutely.
Yep. And Tuesday is Tuesday. So I give them that. If you're working within 4 days and you're able to dominate, 50% of those 4 days with your coverage, then that's where you're going to make your money and establish your true footprint when it comes to the entertainment dollar and the spectators, as far as TV. So I give them credit. Change things up. You got to come up with new ways to market your product. I give hockey credit. Hockey is now like on TNT. TNT went from basketball to hockey, but I give hockey credit. Hockey's starting to market them. And if we're going back to that Mount Rushmore discussion, so LeBron would have to be basketball. Shohei would have to be baseball. I think those two are without a doubt. You can't put Aaron Judge above Shohei, in my opinion. So now you have the other two sports, football and hockey. Hockey, in my opinion, as much as I love some of the other guys, and Marchand could really be somebody who could say, hey, I went from one championship team to another championship team, and I could be there for right now. We know Gretzky would be the person in the old days, but we're not talking old Mount Rushmore. We're talking more recent Mount Rushmore. Got to be Connor McDavid. This guy took a pay cut to get better players because he's gone to the championship or the Stanley Cup final 2 years in a row and come up empty. And now
I hate to say it, but I think because he is in a team in Canada, and I'm going to say a biased statement, I think if he were on any team in the United States, you get more press coverage, honestly.
Oh, hell yeah, for sure.
I mean, this dude's world class, in my opinion, in terms of not just the skill, but just the sheer sportsmanship of giving up money in order to win. Like, that tells you the dedication that he has to the game, and that's what's awesome to see.
Hey, you listening, LeBron?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's what pays. Like, I would legitimately, if I had the opportunity, I would fly to Edmonton, go watch a game just to see this man, because it would be that cool.
Great. If I could get a ticket for it's funny. I was at a Blackhawks game 2 weeks ago, and who were they playing? They were playing the Anaheim Ducks. Yeah, and boy, the crowd, the stands were probably half full.
Yeah.
I can guarantee when Edmund comes to town,
Yep.
I won't be able to get a ticket.
Nope. Edmonton comes to town. I mean, I went to a couple Ovi games last year, hoping to see the him break the record, for most goals, and fell short by about a week. But I mean, people still go watch Ovi because of the class that he showed on the ice. Alex Ovechkin is still a baller, even
and
at age.
What? He's still a baller. I have to say this though, a little bit different in my opinion. He stayed with one team.
Yeah.
He played through injuries and everything else, and he's shown the longevity to finally break Gretzky's record. Now,
right.
we put the same, if you do that in LeBron context, we say the same about LeBron. Well, you played too long. The difference is LeBron's been on how many teams?
Exactly. See, if LeBron James would have stayed on Cleveland, yeah, he may not have won as many championships, probably not. But you know what? He would have been well-known and more well-received in the history.
And more well-respected, in my opinion, because
absolutely.
That was the thing that every great did, is they didn't jump around to find out a place to be great. Are you listening, Kevin Durant?
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Okay, so quick tangent before we maybe jump in the NFL here. 20 years from now, I'm talking to my grandkids. I don't know what the hell, whatever. We're old men, right? We're sitting on our rockers. If I go back and say the name of a franchise, I could probably tell you who the best player was in the history of my time, and even historically, who's going to be most remembered for a franchise. What team do you associate LeBron with? I mean, as much as he's got all the Cleveland ballyhoo and all the other garbage, this dude might go off and retire as a Laker, as far as I'm concerned.
He probably will, but he wouldn't even be the fucking 15th best Laker in my mind.
He's Laker. Yeah, I'd name off Magic, Worthy.
Name every Laker player who started from 1979 or even earlier. We could go back Jerry West.
Yeah.
All the way until now. I'll take Bob McAdoo over
McAdoo, exactly.
Come on, man.
List.
Come on, man. And again, was he truly a Heat great? Dwayne Wade was.
No, D-Wade.
Even though Shaq played on 3 teams.
D-Wade and Shaq. That's it. Now, Ron Cycli is more of a Heat than because that dude used to knock down days like there was no tomorrow. I'll tell you that right now. Look, Ronnie Cycli, I tell you what, one of my favorite Heat players of all time, Glenn Rice.
Oh, Glenn Rice. I like Glenn Rice. I liked him more when he was in Michigan than I did when he was a pro, to be honest.
Sure. But him, Cycli, they just shot down threes. That was their job.
Yeah. Hey, actually, I could tell you in my mind, if you went to Miami right now, and this is just my opinion, but I bet if you went to Miami right now and everybody were to rank their favorite Miami players, Jimmy Butler would be ahead of LeBron.
Yeah. Himmy, absolutely.
And he left like a cheating wife or a cheating husband. And yet they still like him better than they like LeBron.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. But Connor McDavid, hats off to him. I think he would be the person that represents the NHL. So now we can transition to football and make this all about football going forward.
Yes, sir. We're back into week 8, post week 8, going into week 9. It's the turn of the season. The drama is now beginning in terms of the playoff run, in my opinion, because now you got a little separation here between the worst and the best. And frankly, think about it this way. The Chiefs are the number 7 seed right now in the AFC. Think about that for a second. Yeah. And we're talking about potentially the most dangerous team walking in right now.
Well, if you remember the 2 Giants teams that won Super Bowls, they came in as wild cards.
Yeah, wild cards. Eli and them boys, yes.
But before we actually get into the performances last week and then talk about this week, I want to just touch on, just to finish the Mount Rushmore discussion. Obviously, if we look at, today's time, it would have been, yesterday's time, since he's no longer playing, it would be Brady for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Like head and shoulders above everybody else.
No question.
Who is it right now?
Tough one, because you've got a lot of good players, but frankly, it's Pat Mahomes, in my opinion. It's Pat Mahomes. I don't think there's contest right now because they haven't won the championship to sustain themselves. But you got guys like, Allen. You've got Lamar. You've got guys that are on the fringe of maybe breaking through one day and becoming that next great quarterback. But that happened during the Brady era too. During the Brady era, you had the Peyton Mannings, the Eli Mannings, even the Ben Roethlisbergers. I mean, you had those guys, but they weren't Tom Brady.
No,
you're seeing a similar kind of break right now where you got the Pat Mahomes and then you got these other 4, 5, 6 guys right here. Now, the one guy that has transcended both eras, funny enough, but because of two different reasons that I still love to this day, and I think honestly should go down as a top 10, if not maybe top 5 great quarterback of all time, Matt Stafford, in my opinion. I don't think he got a fair shake when he was with Detroit, because the guy was just getting smashed in all day because of no protection, anything else. But what did he do? He created Calvin Johnson. He created Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
I mean,
Cooper Kupp. Is that like a soft drink?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and that's when you know you're great, which made Brady great. Because despite how people may feel, I have my feelings, brother have feelings. I'm sorry, a Julius Edelman, a Wes Welker, all of these guys, they were not even half of what they were in New England when they left. No, or even before. So you can't really say that it was them. It was Brady. I agree with you with Matt Stafford. He got a raw deal. And now I got a chance to show how good he really has been. He's stood the test of time, and he still is a threat. The funny thing about Mahomes is this, and about all of the other quarterbacks, including Stafford, and I can't throw a Purdy up in there. And right now, I'm not sure. Golf, I could throw in there too. Is this Patrick Mahomes is a winner?
Yes, he's a winner.
He is a winner. And when they talk about how great Allen is and Jackson is, they always have to start with, but Patrick Mahomes he's the guy you're afraid of the most, because neither one of them have proven to be able to beat him when it counts. And even when he didn't have all of the weapons around him, even when they didn't, they started playing more defense than offense. Pat knew how to win. Give him 13 seconds. Ask Josh Allen how that felt when he did all that he could to win a game, and then he never saw the ball again and lost.
To me, you named off the only 3 guys, and I say this with a little bit of resentment toward the fact that I probably can't include Jalen Hurts in the conversation, for the only 3 guys that can carry a team on his back and will them to win. Him, Stafford, and Josh Allen. That's it. Because Jackson hasn't proven it. Jalen Hurts has help. I'm sorry to say. He's got Saquon.
Well, and they don't even use Saquon. He finally got.
They don't even use him well enough. We'll talk about that too. They don't even use him. But there's no other quarterbacks in the league that can say, "I'm going to take you on my back. Let's go 13 seconds. Let's finish this deal."
That's right. There are none, and every team fears him. They feared him when he had no weapons. What are they fearing now? Now that he actually has weapons, I fear a shootout with somebody. But if I know they only have 6 bullets, I figure I can beat them. But if they got like a bunch of clips with them too, and now they have just unlimited, ammunition to throw at me, how do you beat that?
No, I think that trait is an important piece of the Mount Rushmore piece. You got to have the fear factor of knowing that person can beat you. So that's where it's Mahomes. To me, it's Ohtani, and to me, it's Steph Curry.
Honestly, they give LeBron all the props, but how many championships?
Never had a game winner.
Won? How many?
Never. I can't remember a game winner in my head from LeBron. I can't.
Hell no. I can remember some game losers. I can remember him giving the ball away when it counted the most, and to have somebody else win the game, not him. True Mount Rushmore figures, true goats of their profession do not defer. Exactly. And not only do they not defer, they rise to the occasion.
They say, "Give me the damn
times than not." What's that?
They say, "Give me the damn ball."
And that's it. And you heard it from Jordan. You heard it from people with Kobe. You hear it from even people on the Golden State Warriors. Get out of the way. Let Steph play. That because they know people who are great demand that because they know that they have the ability to do it. LeBron isn't quite sure.
No.
I've never seen him just be like, "Damn it, I'm going to win this game." Never. Maybe once in Cleveland, but that's about it.
But that was early on in his career when he's earning his rep, and I get it because he was the one-man band over there. He was him and Eric Snow or something like that. It was whatever. But
but you know what though? I think the problem is even though people will say, especially younger people, he is overhyped. He's been overhyped. I remember watching him. I watched his high school games because he was that hyped, and he was that good. Don't get me wrong.
Met amongst boys back then.
Yeah. But since he's come to the pros, he's proven time and time again that he isn't the guy you want to have the ball in his hands. He did the Scottie Pippen more times than not, where, oh, I see that you're not the guy who will win the game for me. Let me go to Tony Kukoc. I'd rather have Kyrie take the winning shot than to have LeBron do it. Right now, I'd rather have, take your pick, Doncic, what's his name, who just won the game last night and really is their star player right now until both of them comes back.
White boy number 2,
I don't know why I keep confusing his name.
I don't know why I'm like it either. You know what I mean? Yeah. They got the dynamic white duo out there. That's Batman and Robin is playing well right now.
Yeah, you know, but see, that's the, you know, like, these are the guys who are the killers. These are the guys who you want to be there at the end. Austin Reeves.
Thank you.
That's the other white boy. It's the other white meat. You know, that's what you want. And honestly, I think the Lakers will win a championship when LeBron retires.
Agreed. 100%.
And remember, what he won a championship in LA. What were the circumstances around that championship?
COVID.
He won it in the bubble.
Yep. COVID.
Outside the bubble?
Yeah.
Not so much.
Nah.
And he's made some bad decisions. I think the general managers have made bad decisions.
Yeah.
They actually
Personally, there's been a problem with them from day one. I mean, think about this. They're at one point, right after the bubble, if you looked at their lineup, they had a jam-pack of guys that could ball. If you look at it, they just never didn't figure out how to put it all together. And that's an indictment on their coaching, their management, everything else they got. Because a lot of those guys ended up being stars everywhere else, or at least mid-tier players.
Hey, they were smart enough to do this, though. Give them all the credit for this. Was it Rob Pelinka or whatever?
Yeah.
They got rid of AD.
Which was great, I thought. That was the most brilliant move ever. Because I've never bought into that guy. Yeah.
For Luka Doncic, I never bought into him. I remember when he was in college. The guy's injury prone. He plays about half as many games as he can play, if that.
Yep.
So how are you ever going to really win a championship?
His eyebrows stay straighter than his back. Let me rephrase that. Yeah.
Yeah, you just can't count on that. So I give them credit for that. But you know what? Enough about all of that. Patrick Mahomes is definitely the Mount Rushmore figure for football as we stand right now. But let's get into what happened last week, and let's talk about what is happening this week.
No, like I said,
in football,
the Chiefs are the 7th seed right now in the AFC, but they are arguably the team to beat right now in terms of offensive efficiency. If you look at this game, and frankly, even their defense, they're the one team right now that ranks in the top 5 of both categories. Think about that for a second.
I'm surprised of that. I think I'll have to say this. We're both Chiefs fans. We're definitely going to pump up the Chiefs. And I definitely think it's rightfully so, given the history, given the progression of this year, without having the weapons, and now that they do. But I'll tell you this, and it's weird to say this, but the team with the best record in the NFL is the one that's least talked about.
Nobody's talking about them.
And it's almost like they're a sleeper.
Yeah.
And they have the best offense.
They
have one of the best defenses.
Yep.
They're scoring the most points.
Yep.
And yet nobody talks about them. But you know why nobody talks about them? Why don't they talk about them?
Because they haven't played the big dogs. And they haven't played the big dogs yet. I want to see them play the big dogs.
Hey, they beat the Chargers.
They did, but now so you bring up an interesting team there. Team started out strong, beat out the Chiefs, beat out a bunch of teams. They were looking really solid on offense, to say the least. Their defense has taken a tumble with injuries now. Their offense honestly hasn't clicked as much, and they've lost their entire backfield. Now they're starting Vidal, which is like 3rd, 4th, 5th stringer. I can't even think how far they're back now on their backside now. But they're a team it's going to win because they beat the Vikings last week very easily on Thursday night, obviously. But again, the Chargers are now in another situation where they're kind of a mid-tier team. They got to go back and prove themselves again. And you're looking at them also again. And then again, also, let's not forget, you mentioned Indiana. Indianapolis as probably the best team in the football right now because of record and everything else.
Yeah.
Honestly, the number 2 team to me is the Denver Broncos.
Well,
they them boys.
It's funny you mentioned that. Right now, I think the Broncos are definitely on the uptick, and they're trending in the right direction.
Now they lost their best weapon on defense this week.
Yeah, that's going to hurt them.
And that's going to hurt them, and it goes into a game where they have to play the Chiefs at the tail end of his injury period.
Patrick was the
he would shut down Rasheed Rice. He would shut down Rasheed Rice. If you matched him up one-on-one, he shuts down Rasheed Rice, and that opens up a whole different dynamic for the Chiefs have to play with. Absolutely.
That's right.
So it's a game changer. I mean, for the Chargers, same thing. Their middle linebacking core is in trouble right now because of injuries. So they're losing that pass rush.
Yeah, but you know what? I want to make this point. The Colts beat the Chargers in LA. Yeah, this was, it was back. It was only a week or so ago. So it's not like they're totally reeling. They still have a better record than the Chiefs, all of that.
Yeah.
They also beat the Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
They lost to the Los Angeles Rams. And that was the game where old boy decided that right before I get to the end zone, I might as well drop the pass. And had he dropped the touchdown. And if he didn't do that, I think they would have been up like 14 or 20 or something crazy at that time. So if you look at where they are, I mean, who haven't they beaten? They can only play the teams that are in your schedule.
Yeah, you could be looking at an undefeated team right now. There's no question.
Exactly. So let's give them props. Let's not try to poo-poo what they've done. Now, looking at what their record
here's my problem.
If they stumble against the Chiefs or against the Steelers this week, then you might have to say something. But then they go through the Chiefs before Thanksgiving. They play the Texans, who are on the uptick right after Thanksgiving. They play the Jaguars, who I'm not too sure about that. They play the Seahawks. They play the Niners.
Exactly.
And they end with the Texans. So,
and that's the thing. Like, I want to see them down that stretch, especially the 2 games against Texas in the division, or the Texans in the division. That's going to be crucial for them. If they run the gauntlet, you're looking at a home field advantage, in which case, yes, I favor the Colts over the Chiefs because the Chiefs would have to go into Indy and play them because Jonathan Taylor, he that dude on turf.
He is that dude, and you're right. If you put him on turf, who's stopping him? The only thing that's stopping him is a possible injury, nothing else.
Yep. Daniel Jones is still that runner. That's the thing. He is that guy. Think about the way, and again, this is going to go lead into this week too, where the Chiefs are playing the Bills. Josh Allen has been the most impactful and the most damaging to the Chiefs when he takes off running. If you think about the last few games where they played in the regular season, he's decimated the Chiefs because of how he can have, he runs out of the pocket and he frees up the game. And that's what also leads him to get the ball downfield to some of his receivers during the game.
That's most teams. It's not just the Chiefs. That's what makes him is that he has that dual threat and he's hard to tackle because of due weight.
Now you got Danny Dimes that can do that. And he's got.
See, this is the difference, though, in Danny Dimes. He always could run the ball. Sure. My favorite picture in my head of Danny Dimes is when he had that one game where he ran and he tripped himself up and didn't score the touchdown because he couldn't run all the way to the touchdown without falling.
But, I'm going to blame the Giants on that, but yeah.
but the thing about him was he couldn't pass the ball.
Yeah.
Now he's actually shown more accuracy and ability to be able to go through the progressions and pick the right choice and make the right throw.
He's got the Pittmans, the Downs, and all those cats out there that can catch the ball. That's what makes him dangerous. And the tight end. I mean, the tight end's crazy right now. Yeah.
The Minnesota Vikings have got to be kicking themselves in the butt because they gave up Sam Darnold. They didn't get Daniel Jones, and they're settling on J.J. McCarthy, who right now looks more like J.J. from Good Times than J.J.
I don't even know if J.J. going to make it on the field
in college.
What's given the injury, given the whole injury bug and the fact that he's still not back, he may not be back at all. They may have to sit back with old Red out there right now with Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz has shown that his claim to fame was that he was able to take over a team that was probably Super Bowl bound and ready anyway, and was able to win with them, and that's his claim to fame. But what has he done before or after? Not much.
But even then, he may have gotten the ring, but Nick Foles got in the ring.
Well, that's actually the truth.
Yeah,
he took him there, but Nick got him to the promised land, right?
Yep. So now, like I said, it's an interesting dynamic. You feel for the Vikings, obviously, because I mean, you're wasting the greatest talent at receiving in history of man.
And I think that's at some point.
I think JJ. I think
At
JJ's
some
got to go somewhere else. Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to have to either make the commitment or you got to give it up. You got to give them up. I mean, I just hate to see great players be put in a situation. I think Ocho Cinco was sort of like that, but he was such a diva.
Receivers get stuck with Minnesota or Cincinnati in their careers to die, unfortunately. That's historic. I mean, think about it. You had Randy Moss and Chris Carter at one point with the Vikings. I mean, think about that for a second. The Bengals had Ocho Cinco, they had Ushmanzada, they had all sorts of cats out there.
Couldn't do anything with them.
Nope.
Was that during the Achilles Smith draft era?
That was during the Achilles Smith draft era, and then you had Carson Palmer and all this other shit, basically. Yeah.
You just got to love the fact that, and there are some great players that, everybody can't be great and be on great teams. It's just the reality, right?
Right.
But there have been some great players that have just suffered in mediocrity at best just because of the teams that they're on.
Case in point, Detroit Lions. You had Barry Sanders at one point, wasted a career as far as
God,
back ever.
Yeah,
Calvin Johnson and Matt Stafford together on any other team are playoff bound.
Wow, that was a shame. And I'm sorry, that run and shoot crap that what was it, Mouse Davis or whatever his name was, had. All you need to do is give Barry the ball.
Yeah, seriously.
Felt like the team was trying to win, but Barry just said forget it. And maybe out of respect to Walter Payton, but knowing that Emmitt Smith broke the record, he should just come back today and run for a little bit and get the record back, just in the right hand. Because Emmitt Smith is not the true rushing.
Smith was the product of a hell of a team. I mean, that team was stacked up and down.
Hell yeah! Look at the offensive line.
Players having watched the '90s Cowboys, and we're not going to try to talk about that anymore.
No, let's not spend too much any more on that. But one thing I do want to make sure that we get to is some of the things that happened last week. So, Chargers Vikings smashed them.
Yeah,
and you could see that. Falcons Dolphins. What a surprise! A game that we both thought the Falcons would win.
Yeah. No,
how do the Falcons lay such an egg against a team that is in such a disarray? You thought that maybe the coach and the wide receiver would be fired at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, no Penix, right? That was a big problem. You had to start, Kirkulicious Cousins and his monster contract. And you would have thought that would have actually helped the Falcons a little bit to get the ball out.
That's what I would have thought.
Kirk done gone. He's just collecting a paycheck.
Yeah, he definitely didn't look like the relative of mine, cousin or not.
He's not Kirko 2 Chainz,
No, you're not. How you like that? You like that? It's like, Kirk, how did you like that?
Yeah, how'd you like that? Yeah, how you like them apples? Yeah.
Another surprise to me, but not to you. You picked the Ravens. To me, it's as a Bears fan, I just feel so demoralized because they came in with who? Huntley? Who?
Snoop Huntley. Who? Snoop Huntley on his 17th tour back with the Ravens now.
Exactly. I thought I saw him out at the Lincoln Park Social Club. Wasn't he the quarterback there too?
I saw him at the grocery store at Whole Foods. I mean, shit.
Hey, Kurt Warner came from the grocery store. But again, how do you lose against that team? To me,
mind-boggling.
It shows me that Caleb was maybe not in the same, and I love the way I have this sort of
the guy's
kind
not
of blowing hand look when I talk, but Caleb reminds me more of the debacle of trading up for Mitch Trubisky than what he was supposed to be, which like a can't-miss Hall of Famer. He doesn't look like he knows how to play football at times. He can't throw an accurate pass consistently. He panics. He waits. Here's the thing that I love, and probably plagued him in college. The college speed and pro speed are different because the speed that you have when you're in college, when you're on the USCs and the big-time teams, is fast. And you're playing against guys who are a little bit slower, right? Yeah. So you could wait till the guy is open, see that he's open, and then throw the ball. You can't do that in the pros.
See, again, this goes back to my whole indictment again on us vaulting these quarterbacks out of what I would call nowhere and all of a sudden giving them credit out of college for having played for big-time programs. USC wasn't even a top 10 team when he played for them.
After he won the Heisman Trophy, they sucked.
They sucked. That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah.
Why?
But you know what? Nobody else was stupid enough to do that. The Bears did that now 2-3 times. I mean, look at what Justin Fields looks like. Justin Fields is inaccurate.
Yep.
And while he has all of the talent, he just, as Woody said, can't seem to put it together.
Now. Let's take it back a second. The man won a big game this weekend after getting called out by his own.
Let me finish the comment and we'll get to that. So they traded up for Mitch Trubisky. Where is he at now? Who is he backing up now?
Exactly. Josh Allen.
We traded up and made him our number one pick when there was Mahomes and Watson and other people who were way more qualified. Trubisky played like 17 games in college. How do you rate somebody that high who hasn't even had enough college experience?
That's the whole thing. Like, I don't understand how some of these NFL scouts work when it comes to freaking picking people out of college. Like, I'm sorry, but these kids haven't played 4 years. Barely 2.
Consistently. Show me that you can do it over a period of time, not a flash in the pan.
Exactly. Just because a kid can chuck at 70 doesn't mean he can do it twice in a row.
Well, and doesn't mean that he can complete a 10-yard pass with consistency. And that's what you need in the pro.
NFL speed. I mean, that's what got exposed. And that's what got exposed by Caleb, honestly, because the Ravens were coming off a bye week. They knew that they had a chip on their shoulder to prove to the rest of the country, like, hey, we're still for real. And honestly, their defense was looking like a high school, GV team for a while.
Prior to last weekend.
They're back a little bit. They got Lamar back this week. It's going to be interesting to see how the Ravens pan out the rest of the season because they got to play comeback all the way through now at 1-6, 2-6, whatever it is. But frankly, the Bears laid an egg at this point this week.
Totally agree. Ravens came out and they were much more physical. They punched the Bears in the mouth, and the Bears did not know how to respond, and it was a done deal after that. It's funny because Vegas has always had the Ravens as the favorite to win their division, even when they were 1-5. I find it hard to believe, but now there's a little light there. And like you said, if they could run the table and win about 3-4 games in a row, given their division,
especially in that division now.
Yeah. Well, Cleveland's nobody. This is the killer part. The AFC North was supposed to be the best division in football. They have one team. Do they have one team?
You're gonna get
maybe one team that's above 500. That's the Steelers.
You're gonna get a 500 team in the playoffs.
Probably.
I'm gonna call it right now.
You can't even be 500. You have to be 9-8 or 8-9. But hey, there have been times when a less than 500 team, NFC South, has won the division. So, and you just never know. I think the Ravens now might be the favorite to win their division, given where Cincinnati is. If you can score 38 points, we can transition right into Cincinnati. You guys should be ashamed of yourself. You played a winless team. You scored 38 points against a winless team. You were up like 20 or something like that in the second half, and you lost.
It goes to the point. Cincinnati's defense has been suspect. We knew it from the beginning. At this point, Trey Hendrickson, you got to be kicking your own ass for having signed any kind of contract. You should have just held out, honestly, and you could have gone anywhere else to just not embarrass yourself at this point. But
what is his injury now?
Sorry,
isn't he injured?
Is Trey Hendrickson still injured? I thought he played.
I thought he was injured. And the other thing with that is, they're probably going to end up trading him. He may not have he could have sat out, but you know what? He might be the guy that gets traded. And there have been talks about where he could go. This guy, if you need a guy that can pressure the quarterback to provide some relief for your back end of your defense, that's the guy.
Yeah, and honestly, it's funny. I was watching a little bit of yesterday on all of our favorite channels here, and everybody's obviously talking about the Bills-Chiefs game coming up this weekend. And they're like, oh, well, Josh Allen in the running game is doing well, yada, yada, yada. They're going to take advantage of this Chiefs 7. The Chiefs 7 is soft up front. And I'm like, oh, shit, you just called out Chris Jones.
Well, but let's be real, being Chiefs fans.
Yeah, they've underperformed. So guess what? You go get like a Trey Hendrickson? Oh, shit.
If that happened, oh, my God.
My God. Well, and again, I'll get to some of the Chiefs rumors here in a second when we talk about the Chiefs, but there's been some interesting talk. I'd love to see some moves getting pulled. Regardless, though, Joe Flacco's putting up 30 points a game, and you can't help him win. That's what surprises me.
And give Joe Flacco all the credit.
Hell
This
yes.
guy bounces around. He goes to new teams. He learns their playbook in a week, and he throws up 30 at you every week. Give him all the credit. Bengals, though, as a team, you suck. Joe Burrow, if I'm you, I would make sure that I'm healthy upon healthy before I come back, because they still really can't block well, and they don't have a defense, and you got to score 40 to win.
Have we seen even one healthy 16-game season from Joe Flacco in his career? We haven't.
Joe Burrow.
We haven't. Yeah, Joe Burrow. Yeah, we have not seen one healthy season. Not even his big season. Was he actually healthy all 16 games or all 18 games or whatever?
Yeah, and explain something to me.
Yeah.
How is it that some people can have turf toe and be back in a couple weeks, and
Yeah.
other people have turf toe and they're out for the season?
As far as I'm concerned, it probably hasn't been caught on Instagram. Dude's probably out there in a chinchilla jacket somewhere hanging out.
He got his Joe Burrow swag going.
He got a Joe bag of swag. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
Hey,
Bills Panthers, we knew. That was an easy one.
Bills Panthers, we knew. Surprising, 49ers Texans.
Surprising game. And you know what? I'm glad to see the Texans kind of mount a little bit of a charge here, because they were looking shitty to start the season. They're finally getting their stuff together. They've always had the capability from an offensive perspective, because they've got the weapons on the wide receiver side. They can get the ball out. CJ Stroud's not a bad quarterback. He can get the ball out. Their defense starting to show up. So honestly, this is a team that's on the rise. It's going to be interesting to see how they fare in the South, especially with Indianapolis. That's why I'm eager to watch those two games.
Yeah, I think that they might surprise Indianapolis if Indianapolis doesn't.
It could be a home and home kind of thing.
Yeah, they could be in trouble. The other part of that too is they're going to be that sneaky rising team that could be a hassle in the playoffs if you got to play them, even if they're on the road.
Yep, absolutely. Eagles Giants. Sad to see Scadaboo go down. I mean, that just sucked. I mean, if you're a Giants organization, you finally hit the right mixture of players. Finally, you've got an elite defense, I think, that's on the rise potentially. You've got a running back, you've got a wide receiver, you've got a quarterback that's got an uptick, and you can't get it all on the field at once. You can't get it all on the field at once. Yeah.
Yep.
And it's sad to see. I mean, they're going to be another 2-3 years away, I think, from elite, from a competitive standpoint. But I mean, this was the Eagles. We knew what was going to happen in this game anyway, especially in Philly. But it's sad to see Scadaboo go down.
Yep, agree. Patriots, Browns, we don't need to talk about. That was it went as it's supposed to go. Buccaneers, Saints, same thing. We expected that. Colts, Titans, same thing. We expected that. Broncos, Cowboys. You picked the Broncos. I picked the Cowboys. You know what's sad to see is the Cowboys are almost the same as the Bengals.
Flash in the pan. Flash in the pan.
Yeah, well, and they can't win unless they score 40 points. And Jerry Jones, you need to shut the fuck up, STFU, because
Jerry,
I'm tired of hearing you say stupid things like, well, we're doing okay without Parsons and we're turning the corner and we have an opportunity. Bullcrap. Imagine if you had a guy like Parsons there, how much better your defense would be.
I'll tell you what Jerry Jones needs to do. He needs to go to the school of Miss Irsay, the owner of the Colts, the daughter of Jim Irsay. His daughter's on the sideline with a clipboard, with a pad, taking notes, with an earpiece in, trying to understand how the game works. And she speaks to the players intelligently. She expects intelligence to speak back. It's very impressive to see an owner that driven. And, nothing against her being a female, but this is huge. This is a huge turn, in terms of ownership. It's someone that actually pays attention to what's on the ground. It's very impressive to see.
You know what? I didn't know that, so it's great to hear that. I know Jim Irsay, rest in peace. So it's great to hear that. I think that's a youthful view. I wouldn't want. All I want Jerry Jones to do is shut up and be an owner. Just shut up, own the team, and shut up. Can I say it again? Just shut up.
Even Jones had a set of cojones. He'd tell his dad to go lock himself in his fucking mansion.
I just, there just needs to be a way for him to get out of the way, to let his team actually play and progress. He's the biggest detriment to the team, and now they're talking about potentially trading for Max Crosby. So let me get this straight. What'd you get for Parsons? A defensive tackle? You got a defensive tackle and
you got a defensive tackle in a grocery store, basically. I mean, seriously.
And now you want to go and pay Max Crosby what you should have paid him?
I mean, some people are going to view that as racism, but that's just me.
I'm not going to call it that, but I call it just straight stupidity and penny wise, pound foolish.
Absolutely. You had something in your hand. All you had to do is just sign a check.
No, all you had to do was check your ego at the door and say, hey, you know what? Agents have a job.
Yep.
And he doesn't represent me. He represents this player. And I can't just go take this player on the side and be like, hey, we're good, right? All right. You're going to agree to this contract with me, right? Okay. Now that we've talked about it, then there's an agreement. The players don't have that ability.
This ain't Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson willingly doesn't have an agent. That's different.
This isn't Lamar Jackson. He did that. But nobody else should be doing that because you're not protecting your own interests. So, Jerry Jones, shame on you. You made the Packers better, which I hate that because I'm a Bears fan.
Exactly.
And you made your team worse when you have Dak performing at his best and you can't even come close to winning games.
And that's the thing. And again, the reason I picked the Broncos, like I said, that defense is elite. Now, it's sad to see Surtain go down potentially for a couple of games. We'll see how long that
is the boy. Yeah.
That defense, let me tell you, they got some game wreckers on that crew. And Sean Payton has these guys playing again, just like he did with the Saints. He's got a wrecking crew out there, and it's fun to watch.
Yep. Agreed. Last two games on the slate, we knew Chiefs were going to beat the Commanders. That was simply put. Steelers, Packers, Rodgers, first time playing against his old team, yada, yada, yada. Sort of hate all of that hype stuff.
Drama.
The Steelers looked like they were competing, but in the end didn't look like they could compete.
Their defense is so shitty for what you paid them.
And that's it. That's an indictment on the defense. They're the highest paid defense, but they play like a bunch of crap. And the funny thing is, they're not one of the highest paid defenses, but they're one of the oldest defenses. And boy, they sure do look old.
They're old, and honestly, they lack passion if you look at the field. I mean, how can you not get after the quarterback with those kind of blitzing and options and everything else you got sitting out there? I don't know if that's an indictment on the play calling or just the fact that team has no motivation to play right now.
I'm going to say the latter, and I don't know, and I think Mike Tomlin's a great coach, but sometimes you sort of fall short. After a while, you hear the same things. You're sort of like, okay, I'm tired of hearing it. And to me, I don't know, but they need a new light bulb because Watt is out.
Yeah,
they need a new light bulb because I don't know what the hell TJ's doing, but I'm playing TJ Watt style ball.
He's playing in incandescent mode when we moved to LEDs. That's the difference.
There you go. It's exactly. So they really need to do something about that. Otherwise, everything that the Vegas odds put, I almost put some money on the Steelers to win the division, but I just felt fishy because I wasn't sold on their defense and I wasn't sold on their offense either. Mainly, not necessarily Rodgers. I just know DK Metcalf is the kind of guy that makes your offense look good, but in the locker room might be worse if you start losing.
I'm sticking with. I mean, call me a homer pick. I'm going with Team Purple to still win the North. I mean, the Ravens impressed me this week with the Bears win. Now we'll see if that's a trend over the next couple of weeks and see if they can get a win streak going. But the most important thing that happened this week is Lamar came in on Monday whenever he was injured. Said, let's clear house of all the distractions in this locker room. He got rid of all the games, the toys, the ping pong tables, all that shit out of the locker room. And he said, let's get down to business. So you know what? That's what a leader does.
That's exactly right. Which honestly, I didn't feel like Lamar was that until
I didn't think so either.
Year or two.
But now I think he started getting. Remember, this guy's still young. That's what's scary. I mean, this guy came out of college in like 1920. I mean, think about that. Heisman as a freshman.
And I think that's the right mindset. Like, hey, before you earn the right to have these things in here, you're not earning that now. So let's remove them and see how we can focus again on what we come here for, which is to win games and to play football at a high level. Now, here's the question I have, though, for that organization, or not the organization, because I don't fault Ozzie Newsome, but I do fault Harbaugh and the coaches because, in my opinion, you just started running Derrick Henry against the freaking Bears.
It's the coordinators and Harbaugh that have been at fault for 3 years, and they're still at fault now. And they're still, and that's why I said, like, it's going to be interesting to see what happens the next 3 weeks. Like, do you actually continue giving the ball to, the most powerful running back in the freaking NFL or not? Do you let Lamar keep operating on the play action finally like he's supposed to or not?
I mean, and that's the other thing. Go back to some of those quarterback reads. He should be running a little bit more and passing a little less. I feel like, again, knowing how it is to tackle a big guy like that, when you first come out, you're gung ho. By the third quarter, you're like, that sucks. And that's what you want to be able to do. I don't care if he only has 60 yards on like 20 carries. Keep feeding him the ball because you're wearing the Ravens down.
The Ravens should be able to finish a game. And what I mean by finish, I mean in the fourth quarter, they better be putting up 2 touchdowns because they should be able to drive down and kill clock like no other team in the NFL.
With that running back? Yeah. But they're not doing that. And it's, again, I think it was just everybody so enamored with being able to pass and prove a point via pass. Look at the Eagles. If the Eagles didn't have some fortune in some of the games they played, their record would be way worse than what they had. So
and Eagles also, same problem. Play calling is absolute shit for them too, given all the talent on the field. And you've got probably maybe the makings of a diva wide receiver. Maybe AJ's turning into Antonio in terms of Browns.
Good call. I like that.
but it's kind of messed up. I mean, at the end of the day, you have the best running back in the game. You have a quarterback that can obviously run and shoot as well. You've got 2 of the best receivers in the game. What the hell's wrong with forget even the 2 receivers. You have the best tight end
I was
in the game.
To say, did you forget Goddard? Because Goddard is
a machine.
But again, I think that you just, to me, what is it? KISS? Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
What are we doing here? You had a 2,000-yard runner that through the first 7 games, you felt like he only needed to touch the ball 6 to 10 times.
Right.
And again, going on the other side, hey, Ravens, you were doing the same thing with Derrick Henry. These were the 2 best running backs in the league last year, and the only thing that stopped them this year is the play calling.
I'm going to give a cheat code to both of these teams, but you guys have something of the likes that the Chiefs had in mid-2000s by the name of Priest Holmes, who, by the way, put up 83 touchdowns. I just picked up on the stat during the actual Chiefs game because Travis Kelce tied the mark for most touchdowns by a Chief or whatever. 83 touchdowns. Priest Holmes did that in 4 seasons.
Yeah,
4 seasons, and all we do is just keep giving him the rock over and over and over and over.
That's the funny part, and again, I think that the NFL is shooting themselves in the foot, with the idea of trying to score more points to attract more viewership
or something.
You know what? There are people like me who still appreciate a good running game and smash mouth football and contact and that kind of stuff.
It wins games. It's as simple as that.
So, you could be enamored with being able to pass the ball all over the place, and you can end up having quarterbacks that look like Justin Fields, or you could design a running play or running kind of package, sort of like what Jim Harbaugh did with Colin Kaepernick and the running backs in the 49ers, and they were successful. The Ravens were successful, and then they got away from all of that because they need to prove a point. Like, in order for a quarterback to truly be an NFL quarterback, they got to show that they can stand in the pocket.
Jamal Lewis and Ray Rice. What'd you do? You kept feeding them the rock around here. Why don't you do Derrick Henry? It's just crazy.
Yep.
That said, Ravens play tonight against the Dolphins. I think the Ravens should win this game. I'm going to go with the Ravens because they're coming off like I said, the bye week helped them. They're getting healthy. Lamar's back. Tua, flash in the pan last week, threw 4 touchdowns, but to who? I can't even remember. Was it Jalen Waddle? I can't even remember. Was A-Chain even getting 100 yards? I don't even remember. This is still Mike McDaniel. I'm sorry, but dude's a crackhead.
Yeah, they got to get rid of him. I think of all the people, all the coaches who may have lost their voice in the locker room, I think he's one of them, if not the one.
As much as you don't want to get rid of a quarterback and a coach at the same time, this might be one of those scenarios you need to clean house, honestly.
And that's what I'm saying. They just delayed it for a week because they look good against a team that might be overvalued in the Falcons.
Right. Exactly.
But, I don't see them lasting. They may last the season just because, but this is it. This may be the swan song. I don't think they can just get rid of Tua because you just signed him to a big contract. So what do you do with that?
Give me dead cap money, but what other team isn't paying that? The Jets are still paying for Aaron Rodgers, for God's sakes. Hell, the Packers might even know.
Well, you might as well see what you can get out of him. Unfortunately, what that means is you're putting his long-term health at risk. No other team is going to take him. You're not going to trade him to another team.
His career is over.
He's going to get popped.
Yeah, his career is over effectively once he's done with his Dolphins stint. Let's put it that way. He's not even a backup quarterback at this point.
Agreed.
So it is what.
Giants 49ers.
Yep.
Giants at home, minus Scatterboo.
Minus Scatterboo, they still got that defense, and the 49ers are still on the mend. And that's what troubles me right now, because the 49ers just haven't had a 100% team anywhere. Now, they supposedly get Ricky Pearsall back this week. Good sign. I think Brock Purdy's 50-50 for this game. But again, Mac Jones has been playing well. So what do you do there? CMC's carrying the team right now. And frankly, as long as he's healthy, I like their chances. It's a tough one for me. I would rather go Giants, but I'm going to go 49ers on this one on the road.
Okay.
Because I think it's a must-win for the 49ers for their division.
I think they need the win for their division. I think the Giants need a win for Scatterboo. I think that they're going to rally around that.
A revenge mission, yeah.
Yeah, I think they're going to rally around that. I agree with you. Here's the funny thing. They just, another one of these quarterback things, right? They signed Purdy, who, remember, Purdy was the last pick of the draft. He was Mr. Irrelevant. They signed him to a big-time contract at the beginning of the season.
Yep.
And now they have a dilemma because Mac Jones looked like he's playing just as good as Purdy.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens. I got the Giants on that one. Chargers, Titans. I don't think there's much of a discussion there. The Titans and the Jets are the two teams that I feel you can't ever pick to win a game just because.
Yep.
Lions, Vikings.
Interesting game in the division, honestly. I'm going to go Lions pretty easily in this one, unfortunately, because the Vikings just been on a downslope. They can't figure it out right now, especially with the quarterback situation. They don't even have stability at running back. It's just crazy that they don't have any stability going on with the Vikings right now. I think Lions win this one easy.
I am surprised by that. I thought they would have a better running game. I went with Jefferson. Gosh, it's just to see the offense be so inept is, every time I see Carson getting ready to throw, he makes me wince. Get it?
Yes, yeah.
So I don't know. I can't ever pick the Vikings again until they show me any kind of consistency on either side of the ball. I also have the Lions. Patriots, Falcons, Patriots at home. I'm not sure that you got much to say on that. I don't know what
Mike Vrabel is them boys cooking. He got Drake May looking like an MVP. It's all I can say.
And I'm sorry, Tennessee. How do you feel about a coach that you thought wasn't good enough to coach your team, and he's going in and he's coaching up the Patriots, and they have the best record in their division right now?
This is a player's coach, and you never gave him a chance. Simple as that. He's the people's champ.
I got Steelers at home against the Colts.
I'm going Colts easy in this one because the Steelers have yet to prove a damn thing on that defense. And maybe this is maybe this is me calling them out. Let's see what happens with TJ Watt and them boys. See if they actually show up. But I think the Colts cruise.
You'd think Steelers at home would be a tough thing, but until their defense even somewhat resembles what I've known, I was a Steelers fan in the 70s when I was a kid. And they always were their team was predicated on defense first. For them not to have a good defense is really just strange to see.
Well, and I'm sorry, but Mike Tomlin, you decided to take 2 strikes against you anytime you take the field. One's called Aaron Rodgers, the other one's called Arthur Smith. Simple as that.
So just surprised. I think if the Steelers lose this game, they could be reeling if the Ravens win their game, which they should.
I honestly think you're going to see some change with the Steelers if they lose this game. Meaning, I think Arthur Smith probably needs to be fired as offensive coordinator. That dude is never. I don't
disagree with that.
Explain to me how this works. And I think it's all media bias that carries this shit. Everybody thought Arthur Smith's some offensive genius, whatever the hell. He failed with the Falcons. He failed. I forgot where else. He's failed now with the Steelers. When do you actually say that somebody sucks? I mean, we said this with Brian Kelly finally with the LSU. Thank God.
Took forever though. Everybody kept giving him.
Biggest fraud on earth. I don't care who wants to say it. I said it from day one. The dude is a fraud.
He is a fraud. It always has been, except now he's got $54 million.
He's got $54 million. He's richer than me. All right, so it's cool. Yeah. James Franklin, you can never beat the top 10. We already knew that walking in. I feel bad for him, but you know what? The dude couldn't beat the big dogs, so you had to get fired too. And you too, $50 million. Here you go.
Well, it's all about marketing, right? And I think we just have this idea of overhyping. It's just we're just a victim of hyperbole. We tend to just overvalue things.
Cliff Kingsbury, offensive genius coming out of college. Air raid offense. Pat Mahomes, Texas Tech. You send him to Arizona as a head coach. Can't get shit done with Kyler Murray.
But then he went to Washington.
Now he went to Washington, and now he's got some potential. But that also tells you the same thing you and I said. Some people are bored to coordinate. Some people are bored to head coach.
That's right. Sometimes you just got to stay in your lane. Some things are a little too big. Plus, the more responsibility, the less control you have.
Yeah. Yep.
And that plays a big role in how you're going to have success or how you're going to fail if you move up to that next level.
Yep. So no, I see the Steelers having some change if they lose, but yeah, needless to say, Colts on this one.
Yep. Texans at home against the Broncos. This could be a really good game.
I like this game. In fact, love watch. I want to actually tune in for this game because it's going to be a great proving ground for the Broncos now that they've got a little bit of a void at corner with no Surtain in this game. The Texans have the capability of airing out the ball, and they have recently. Stroud's getting the ball out pretty easily right now. It's going to be fun to see this matchup. I think it's going to come down to the trenches, and that's where the Broncos are still stout at stopping the run. So it is going to force C.J. Stroud to throw. Can the rest of the Broncos secondary make up for not having Surtain on that one-on-one matchup to shut down someone? I'm going to call a close game. I'm going Broncos. I think Bo Nix and them boys are still throwing that ball around like crazy right now.
I think that I agree with all the things you said. But I'm actually taking the Titans. I think one thing that the one thing that I think it's hard to replace is a Pro Bowl cornerback.
Absolutely.
So you see that, and now all of a sudden you can't shut down the same wide receiver. And remember, when you lose that piece, everybody else has to change their roles, right? Is their next player up going to be able to shut down the lead receiver for the Texans? Is he going to shut down a Nico Collins? Are you going to shut down? I want to see that. I think you're right. They may not be able to run the ball. If they are able to be successful in running the ball, the Broncos are going to have a long day.
Right. Nope.
And it is in Texas too. So
it is in Texas. Yep.
All right. Bengals against the Bears. Bengals at home.
Yeah, two teams on a downslope. The Bears have to start proving their own streak. Now, the Bears have more capability in this game. I'm going to say capability because it's all on Caleb Williams at this point to get the damn ball out to his playmakers. The Bears have a run game, and they have a defense. So I'm going with the Bears in this one.
Same thing, and I can't go against the Bears.
But
against
Mr. Flacco could still put up 40.
So that is the only fear that I have, that as good as the Bears defense has looked at times, I think there becomes a little bit of a frustration and fatigue factor when you're out there busting your butt and you're watching this dude screw things up on the offense. And all of a sudden you're saying,
shut down Jamar Chase. Seriously.
Yeah. That's
Jamar Chase gets 20 balls a game right now. 20 balls a game.
and again, that goes back to what we were talking about. How come you're not doing that with your star players? Minnesota, Eagles, Baltimore. That's what you should be doing. Feed them. Yeah. And you're going to win most of those games because they are that good.
Absolutely.
All right, Panthers, Packers in Green Bay.
Green Bay easy on that one. No challenge there. I mean, barring any health issues, that one's pretty easy.
Me too. Same with the next one. LA Rams at home against the Saints.
Rams on that one. I think I don't know if they're getting Puka back or not yet. That's also a factor. But at the end of the day, Matt Stafford's doing Matt Stafford things right now, and it's just impressive to watch.
they're playing the Aints.
Yeah, that's true.
Enough
and the Aints are starting. I think like Tyler Slough.
Enough.
They're starting something that starts in a Mardi Gras gutter. I don't even know.
You remember the Last Dragon? They had that guy Show Enough. That's him.
That's him.
That's him. Next, this could be an interesting game. Raiders at home against the Jaguars.
Raiders-Jags is going to be an interesting one. Right now, they got Jags favored by 2.5. The Raiders have something to prove here. Otherwise, the season's over as far as I'm concerned. So, I mean, do they actually show up? Does Max Crosby and the boys? I don't think Max got enough help on that defense, so that kills him too. They have no offense. Gino and the boys can't get shit done. I mean, Ashton Janty's back this week. Can Janty run on the Jags? Maybe. I mean, the Jags are also a question mark too because they haven't been consistent. They beat a Chiefs team, but then they haven't done shit since then. So I don't know. I'm actually going to go with the Homer Raiders on this one. Even though it's Jack's 2.5, I'm going to say it's a comeback game because the Raiders have something to prove. If Geno wants to keep his job and everybody else wants to keep their job over there, and maybe Tom Brady lights a fire and says, you guys get your shit together, we're burning this place to the ground, maybe they do something.
Wait, hold on.
Jags Raiders? No?
No. I got a note.
Yeah.
I have the Jaguars only because of everything you stated about the Raiders. I think the Raiders have a chance to win if they take the ball out of Geno's hands. Period.
Agreed.
Geno's looking like my man, Mr. Hallelujah on the Giants, who could throw 30 touchdowns and throw 30 interceptions in the same game.
Jameis Winston, you're the king. That's all I can say. Jameis Winston is the king.
Jameis, it didn't matter. Hey, I threw the ball to somebody who had a uniform on the field.
Yep.
So I did my job.
That's true. I did my part.
Well, it's just so funny because Geno was the darling last year, but boy, he looks pretty sorry this year.
He's looking pedestrian this year, and I think part of that's Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll's done. He's 80 years old.
I agree. Yeah. His energy may be a great thing, but other than that, he's got nothing in the tank anymore. Chiefs Bills in Buffalo.
Here's the game of the day, game of the weekend. We're playing at Buffalo. We're 1-4 against Josh Allen during the regular season.
The
4-0
in the postseason.
The Bills' defense has been nothing all season, and that's what's honestly costing them from being also an elite team. I think that with the Chiefs firing the way they are, I like the Chiefs. However, it's going to come down to our run game, in my opinion. Now, we don't have Pacheco. Let's make a quick note of this. Pacheco's back out with another MCL sprain. We don't know how long he's out. I think this is where the Chiefs are going to go make a move after this game because the trade deadline's on the 8th. I think they're going to go make a move on the off week to go get one of two players, and I'm going to call it right now. They're going to either try to go get Breece Hall, or they're going to go try to get Alvin Kamara, both of which they can afford under the cap, because there's some monetary issues there that are playing into that. Now, there's going to be other teams that are going to be in that mix too, so it's going to get competitive to try to get those two players. But I think once the Jets lose, and the Jets are on the bye week, so another capitalistic time to go after it, I think then the Chiefs will shore up the running game. But I think it's going to come down to Kareem Hunt having at least 80 yards and 2 TDs for the Chiefs to win this game. But I'm going Chiefs.
I'm going the Chiefs.
Yep.
I'm not sure I agree with the rushing part of it.
Yeah.
I feel like having Rice back, having Worthy back, as we mentioned before, Patrick Mahomes being Patrick Mahomes, actually getting Kelsey involved again in the offense.
Yeah.
I think that they could do it in the air. Now, I don't disagree that if they could control the
you got to keep Josh off the field.
Yeah, if you control the clock and have a real running game, I think, quite frankly, I just let Kareem Hunt be the starter.
That's what I'm thinking.
He's not the guy who's going to maybe break off the 60-yarder, but he can run 10 yards hard as heck. And Pacheco just seems to find people to tackle him as opposed to finding daylight.
Keep an eye out on the rookie. This Brashad Smith kid he runs like a Pacheco.
He's looked. Yes.
He runs like a Pacheco, so he'll run through a wall. He runs hard and he cuts faster, in my opinion.
Yes, he cuts faster and he actually finds daylight. I just feel like Pacheco has gotten to the point where now I watched a couple of plays where all he had to do was be patient. And had he been patient, he could have gone through this hole, but instead he just busted right through there. And it's just that's not to me what you want to see in your running back.
No, I think with as many holes as the Bills defense has shown right now, both on their offense, on their defensive line and their secondary, I like the Chiefs in this
one. Seahawks, Commanders at home.
But McLaurin's out again. McLaurin's out again. They can't get him on the same page.
Yeah, and you see, I'm telling you, McLaurin should be getting paid big money. Did he get his contract? He did get his contract.
He did. And then
did you see he had 2 highlight film catches during that game.
Dude's a baller, and there's no question. I've said it for the last couple of years. Dude's a baller, but he can't stay on the field healthy enough. Same problem that Debo had in the 49ers. And now Debo's staying healthy, which is kind of funny because he's a number 2. But until you get both those guys on the field, and Ertz, and McCroskey, and Crosby Merritt and all that, then I want to see what these Commanders can actually
Bob? Is that Bob or Bill?
Bill. Yep. Yep.
Bill.
Yep.
Don't know how you
Technically,
got that.
it's Corey Krosky Merritt, but they call him Bill. Yes. But until you get all of those players on the field at once, I can't make sense out of this Commanders team. And yes, their defense sucks. We know that, unfortunately. You can't just rely on Marshawn Lattimore to have a pick here and there. That's about it.
Yeah.
And frankly, it was a hell of a pick, by the way, on the against the Chiefs.
That was a hell of a pick.
It was a hell of a pick. But Seahawks are looking great right now. Seahawks are going to cruise in this one, in my opinion.
I actually think the same. I think the one thing that could hold them back is, if I'm not mistaken, Seahawks have had to do this cross-country thing a couple of times in the last few weeks. That could take a toll on you. So, but I have the Seahawks as well.
They got JSN, man. That dude's the next dog. Jackson Smith is that dog.
And again, that was addition by subtraction. You took Metcalf off the team, and you got better.
Yep.
Last but not least,
why do we give Monday night games to Jerry? That's what pisses me off. Like, this is just, again, Monday night game's not as good as Thursday night.
Well, here's the other part. Why give Kyler a chance to be on network TV?
That too, man. This is a bad game. I don't want to watch it, but I'm probably going to end up watching just to see if the Cowboys can put up 40, because if they don't, then it's a failure to me. I don't care. I'm picking the Cowboys to win, but if they don't put up 40 points, I think their season's over. That's what I'm going to call right now.
I'm actually going against the grain here. I should take the Cowboys. Not sure the Cardinals offense can stop Williams on the ground. I'm not sure that their defense can stop Williams on the ground. Not sure that they could stop the two-headed monster that is Pickens and Lamb. But at the same time, this is Jerry. Jerry just finds a way to make something bad.
Fuck it up.
Yeah. So I'm just going to take the Cardinals on a whim here. Just because
Kyler Murray rushes for 100 yards, and their tight end finally gets going.
Well,
Marvin Harrison finally catches the ball. I don't know.
Well, see, and that's the thing. They've had the bye week last week. You got Harrison. You got McBride. You got enough weapons. You even had a guy who's running halfway decent the last time I saw him, since Connor's been out.
Yep.
There's potential there. We shall see what happens.
Yeah, let's put it this way. If DeMarcado, Murray, McBride, Harrison actually show up, maybe this turns into a game. We'll see.
Well, we are actually 73, or I just closed my thing. So we're tied again. I was up 3 games. You got me last week. So you caught up. So we are tied right now, and I think we're
at the midpoint of the season, by the way.
What's that?
I said right at the midpoint of the season, too.
That's right. So we'll see how we perform going into the remainder of the year. One thing I just want to wish for everybody: have a safe and happy Halloween. Remember, it's about fun and a little candy and some partying. It's not about mischief and egging and all of that stuff. I'm hopeful that the kids are able to take your kids out, have a great time, steal a little bit of their Reese's cups, because that's still the best candy that you can get. I don't care what anybody says, unless you have a peanut allergy. And
or a whole Hershey bar, yeah.
Yeah, or that. And find the block. We have one down here. And I keep telling people, take your kids down the block where the parents are into Halloween, and they got some wine ready for all of the parents that are coming by, so you can sip a little wine while your kids get the candy. So look for those.
Hate to say it, but that's usually in the more affluent neighborhoods. So
it is in the more affluent neighborhoods. Yeah.
Go to Lincoln Park, boys.
Yeah, and it's not box wine. Now, if you went to the other areas,
no. There's no Franzia here, baby. Yeah. we talking Trader Joe's.
Buck and Chuck.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But no, go have a lot of fun. Be safe. Don't go crazy. I tell my soccer players, you got a game on Saturday morning. Don't get some sleep.
Get some sleep for all of those weekend activities. Don't party too hard come this Friday, and then forget you got to get up Saturday morning.
Don't forget also this weekend, we've got the extra hour fall back. It's a little rollback. Thank God we don't have a Europe game at like 8:30 in the morning or something.
Yeah, thank God those are done.
Yep. So no, we'll be good. But no, meantime, we leave you with peace and have some fun.
Yeah, and actually, one more comment behind that. For all of those people, I know this is a tough time of year when you start setting the clocks back and you feel like you're in darkness the entire day. You're wherever you are, it might be dark around 4:30, and you feel like it's time to go to bed, even though it's 4:30 in the afternoon. Try to work through your depression. Find things that you can keep your mind focused on. create activities that give you some kind of thing to have a purpose for and find some joy in. So this way you can, maybe have a little less time being depressed and more time trying to figure out how you can manage that a little more.
That's some personal time. Absolutely. Yeah. Try to figure out something you enjoy and go after for at least an hour or two a day. That way you can keep your mind off kind of the nighttime loom, if you will, that we have around now.
But other than that, wish you all a wonderful day and a wonderful weekend.
See you guys next week. Stay tuned for the series as we know.
All right. Peace out from Brown and Browner, or Bald and Balder.
That's true. We done.